Okay, so you want to do it live in 4 minutes, or? Okay, we're going live.
Awesome.
And now, here is your starting lineup for FC Cincinnati.
Probably get that. Okay. But you're right. All has got to be. Kyle, don't go too. Well, we'll have time. We have a break. So we got the break. We're all right. It's not as big of a rush because we have the break.
A defender from Cincinnati, Ohio. A defender from Utrecht, Netherlands, number 51, Sim. A defender from Sydney, Australia, number 4, Harrison. A midfielder from number 19, Corbin. A midfielder from San Diego, California, number 5, Nathan. A defender from Girona, Spain.
Two years ago, FC Cincinnati was 1 week away from being formally announced as an expansion franchise. Tonight, they return home from a thrilling Open Cup win, looking for 3 big points in USL play. Good evening and welcome to Anniversary Night at historic Nippert Stadium on the campus of the University of Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati set to take on Orlando City B. Tom Glitter having to be alongside my broadcast partner and All-American Kevin McCloskey, as tonight Alan Koch is without GB. Fortunately for the gaffer, he has some good options, and Kyle Gregg will get the starting nod.
Yeah, mid-season signing. It's really impressed in training and obviously games of late. So this will be his first start tonight. Be interesting to see what he does.
Kyle Gregg at the 9, and he'll be flanked by a couple of very talented guys. One of them will be Jimmy McLaughlin, who's been hot in USL play as of late. And let's take a look at the key matchup, driven by Volkswagen. Jimmy's one of the guys you're keeping your eye on.
Yeah, he's been on form. He scored goals. I think his confidence is sky high at the minute. faces a very tough and experienced defender with Seb Hines tonight. It's going to be an interesting battle in this game.
Well, tonight's the third matchup this year with Orlando City B. FC Cincinnati, those squarely focused on the task at hand. Starters in the first touch coming your way next. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. One, two, three, four, five.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tom Glenner and Kevin McCloskey back with you at Nippert Stadium, where another crowd in excess of 20,000 is expected. Could push the USL regular season record tonight. Time to take a look at the starting lineups, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places for Alan Koch. We mentioned Kyle Gregg starting at forward. Aiden Quinn, who played in the midweek Open Cup game and played very well, will get the starting nod tonight. Kenny Walker a chance to rest. And Sam DeVitt in the middle of the three center backs as Justin Hoyt will rest tonight. At the other end for Orlando City B, a lineup that's scattered with MLS players. Seb Hines, a guy that Kevin already talked about, and Earl Edwards, the goalkeeper. 7 clean sheets on the season. OCB, a team that doesn't concede very often. All of our sideline reports are brought to you by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. Let's head downstairs for the first time tonight and check in with Lindsay Patterson.
Guys, bouncing back, it's something that we've seen all season long. We saw it again on Wednesday night, from Open Cup to league play. Alan Koch calling it a magical moment, MLS commissioner, praising what this club has done the last 2 years. But now it's back to focusing on what they can control, and that's tonight, gaining ground in the Eastern standings.
No doubt, Lindsay, Alan Koch enjoyed the win Wednesday night, but by the time he was on the plane Thursday flying back to Cincinnati, he had already turned the page and was focused on Orlando City B and getting 3 points for his men in blue tonight. You see Edwards Jr. there, the very talented goalkeeper, making his third start of the season against FC Cincinnati. This is an OCB team that came here and won in May 2-0. The two teams tied in Orlando in July 1-1. Tonight's match official is brought to you by Kingsgate Transportation. We could take it from here, and our official for the second time here at Nippert Stadium this season is Bardhill Pashai. He had a match in early June when he handled the center official duties. FC Cincinnati in their traditional blue kits. Orlando City B will wear all white tonight with purple on the sleeves and shoulders. And the home side will have the first touch. Andrew Wiedemann knocks it back to Quinn. And we are underway here at Nippert Stadium, the 5th all-time meeting between these clubs. OCB able to take possession right away in the midfield, nearly a handball. and then knocked into FC Cincinnati's bench. We mentioned off the top, GB not available tonight. Dallas J also not available. He received a red card from the bench in the match last Saturday in USL action. So GB not in the 18. And then Johan DeMay, the assistant coach, was also sent off from the bench. So he is not available on the bench for Alan Koch tonight. Today's injury report is presented by the Levy Law Offices. They turn your crash into cash, and one injury remains there for Alan. Tyler Pollock out with the foot injury, but he was training when we were watching the club yesterday and slowly trying to work his way back.
Yeah, I think Tyler's coming along well. Alan expects him to be back probably next week in contention again, and another great option for a squad that's really clicking at the minute.
Here, De Silva trying to make his way up the left side as Orlando City B works right to left. De Silva making his third start against FC Cincinnati this season. Aiden Quinn, Blondie, as he picked up the nickname a couple weeks ago in the international friendly against Valencia.
Yeah.
When Ray Hudson joined us in the booth, he called him Blondie, and I told...
Certainly a term of endearment, Tommy.
Yeah, no doubt. I told Aiden after the match that he picked up a new nickname during the game, and he asked what it is. Most of the guys in the club call him Quinny. I told him it was Blondie, and he laughed. And I said, well, Ray Hudson gave it to you. And he said, well, you might have to stick that.
Yeah, he's going to take it.
Meanwhile, Jimmy McLaughlin looking for a pass on the near side, watches it float over his head into Orlando City's bench.
I think a direct start from both teams, really, Tommy, trying to test out the back lines at least. Try to put the opposing defenders under a little bit of pressure to see who's ready to win those first and second balls.
If you remember the match back on May 13th when these two teams played here at Nippert Stadium, it was Danny Koenig's first match after only 2 days of training joining the club. Bit of a frustrating night as Danny tried to figure out his teammates, and a few cards that were not in the home team's favor that night. OCB scored on a penalty kick in that match en route to the 2-0 victory. Greg trying to pick it up in the midfield, cannot. It is knocked back to the center backs. And over to the left side, Leo Pereira will push it onto the left, Rocha.
Let's talk about that last performance, I think, with this new team and obviously new coaching staff. Probably early days, Tommy, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Kind of a
very much the construction was
construction phase that we talked about. I think we hit on it a lot that game, if I remember right.
Multiple cranes were still out in the dressing room and on the pitch at that point for Alan Koch. And it really started to come together about 2 weeks later when the club defeated Louisville City here at Nippert in the Open Cup. And from there, the team has been playing very good soccer over the last two and a half months. Sent into the box on the throw-in by OCB, turned away by DeVitt. Now Boehner going to try to clear it out of the defensive third. He does. But OCB is able to pick it right back up onto the foot of Alston. To the right, close. Now back to Hines.
I think a big thing you want to see, Tommy, tonight, you've already kind of mentioned it, that MLS experience in this squad. Anytime that a USL team, FC Cincinnati, faces the likes of Orlando City B, it's kind of hard to prepare. It's hard to expect, who's going to travel. But make no mistake about it, there's a lot of talent and experience in this Orlando team tonight.
4 or 5 of the starters, I believe actually 6 of the starters tonight for Orlando City are on MLS contracts. Sent down to the 2 team. Jimmy McLaughlin with contact from Paul Close draws the foul. And FC Cincinnati right in the midfield will be able to put it into play and try to get to the attacking third for the first time tonight.
Yeah. Big thing for both teams is that, is get into that rhythm. I talked about it earlier. They kind of started a little bit direct and test out that defense. We're not going to talk too much about last weekend's game, but that was one of the frustrations, I think, coming off of it.
Absolutely.
Was that lack of rhythm.
When you play 58 minutes a man down, hard to find that rhythm.
So it's certainly one thing that they've worked a lot, before obviously Wednesday's game, and even in their the preparation day yesterday. They're trying to get back to those passing patterns.
Club was frustrated over the 3-2 loss last Saturday in league play, but moved on quickly and found a very positive result in a quarterfinal match that happened 3 weeks late down at Miami FC on a Human Night Wednesday. 1-0 victory thanks to GB. The club has gone now 510 minutes in Open Cup play without allowing a goal. Dallas J played 120 of those minutes, and Mitch Hildebrandt the rest. since that opening victory against AFC Cleveland.
Great performance on Wednesday night. I thought again, Alan Koch, tactically, I think he hit the nail on the head. His preparation was fantastic. And again, execution by these guys on the night was terrific.
Corbin Bone forward onto the foot of McLaughlin. Gregg battling for it. McLaughlin will chase it and pull it down in the attacking third. Seb Hines, who you had on the key matchup, pushes it away. Throw in inside of the final third coming for FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, Seb's going to be a player, obviously he's starting right center back at the minute, but Jimmy's that player that likes to get inside.
Josu to Gregg, and an early strike for the orange and blue. Kyle Gregg has his first with the team. And a celebration to pay homage to his pregnant wife as Kyle Gregg takes the ball and sticks it under his jersey after sticking it in the back of the net.
We talked about Josu's delivery all season long. Whips a great ball in. I talk about cool finish, great technique to get up above the ball, head down in for a goal.
No better way to move forward in league play than to come out and get an early goal, and the decision to start Kyle Gregg paying off for Alan Koch.
Nothing better too than getting a goal in your debut as a starter too, Tommy. There's confidence, a world of good.
FC Cincinnati with the early tally here at Nippert Stadium. McLaughlin forward to Gregg. Back heels it back to Jimmy. McLaughlin on the service in. Trying to get it to Gregg, who is pulled down, and a penalty coming in the 8th minute. They are on their feet here at Nippert Stadium.
What a start, Tommy. I love the searching ball by Jimmy McLaughlin.
Gregg scored just a minute ago, and then he's pulled down inside of the 18. Aiden Quinn, who took a penalty kick here at Nippert last week.
What I love here, Kyle Gregg gets body position strong enough. Is it a penalty, Tommy? Probably not. Okay. You know, the key here, I think, he's got body position on the defender, so he's goal side of him. Referee's probably not got a great vantage point. Unlucky last week, lucky this week.
Well, the arms were wrapped around Kyle Gregg from Zach Hayden. Now Aiden Quinn, who has 2 goals on the season, steps to the spot with his left foot, and Edwards makes a huge save on the PK. He guessed right, and that's the direction that Aiden Quinn went, to the shooter's left. And Edwards was able to make the stop and stop some of the bleeding right now for Orlando City.
Yeah, a very important stop, obviously, by Edwards. I don't think Aiden Quinn got all the pace that he wanted on that penalty. Just opened up his hips a little bit, didn't kind of drive through it. But credit to Edwards, great start by him, and obviously a good save.
I mentioned right off the top that a very big crowd, probably around 24,000 is expected. They've opened general admission in the second deck on the far side, the east side of the stadium again, offside as the call as the flag has gone up on the far side. Josu will quickly push the pace, but a very crisp FC Cincinnati side to start. Gregg with a run. He has Wiedemann and McLaughlin inside the 18. His pass is deflected away, and then he battles to keep it alive. Will be called for a foul, sweeping to knock the ball back to Quinn.
Really impressed, obviously, with the goal. It's pretty significant, but just Gregg's kind of willingness to move as that target. Great tight little turn as well, showing close control to get around. Just commits the foul to give Orlando a chance now to build.
Tonight's keys to the match are brought to you by your Tri-State Chevy dealers. And Kevin, maybe it's changed a little bit. Important to note these came in before the match started, but what did you have tonight for FC Cincinnati looking to move on past last Saturday?
I think, a big thing for them is, new signings coming in. I think they want to make use of that, which we just talked about obviously with Gregg. That's a massive thing. And then I think the second thing too is is forget about Wednesday. You know, they've kind of got to move on from it. I think they've got to keep that focus. And the most important thing now is climbing back up the league table. Alan talked about it before the game, is, hey, we have to go out and perform. We have to forget about last Saturday. We have to forget about Wednesday. We got to get the job done.
Well, so far, so good for Alan Cox in the orange and blue. 11th minute, and the home lads on top by a goal. There's Delbridge with his signature sliding tackle to poke it out. Far touchline. Tonight's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by UC Health. Close. Austin Berry heads it straight up into the air, and then a shot is chipped past Mitch Hildebrandt off the foot of Lewis Neal. The English midfielder for OCB. And FC Cincinnati lucky to still be up by a goal there.
Very energetic response really since the goal from Orlando. You know, they came back, tried to put FC Cincinnati under a little bit of pressure.
Wiedemann looking to push it up the right side to Greg. Pereira was able to come over and collect it.
Anytime that you're playing with that experience, they're not going to get fazed by an early goal. A lot of time left in the game. They're certainly not going to stray from their game plan.
Seb Hines will work it to his left. Pereira. Now Alston inside the middle third. Brings it up the left side. Pierre De Silva's going to battle. Corbin Bone comes over, makes some room, and has a nice defensive play.
Defending too, just to kind of shift them back a little bit, not let Orlando penetrate through that line. Gives FC Cincinnati a chance to get some numbers back here and get their defensive shape again.
Alston brings it inside the 18. Sem DeVitt turns him away, and Boehner clears it out into the midfield.
Just another example of Greg using his body, being able to turn and shield.
When you talk about your striker position for FC Cincinnati, Greg starting tonight at 6'2". You have Danny Koenig at 6'2", as a starting option and a scoring threat with 7 goals this year, and then GB with 11 sitting out tonight at 6 feet tall.
Some firepower in those options, Tommy.
Look at it right now. You have 19 goals between your 3 strikers. Greg with 1, 7 for Koenig, and 11 for GB.
And I think all 3 players kind of, you know, you talk about characteristics. They're big, they're strong, they're fast, they can play back to goal. Obviously, they can score goals. But for any type of center back, that's a nightmare to defend against.
On the throw, and Sem DeVitt turns it away, but then Austin Martz gets his first goal on the season. It comes in the 14th minute, and OCB with an answer 7 minutes after the home side's goal.
Yeah, this ball comes in. FC don't do a good enough job of clearing it. Comes right to Martz. Good technique to finish it. I'm sure Alan's not going to be very pleased as far as defensive assignments on that. You know, I'm sure they're going to look at the long throw and making sure that they set up correctly defensively. Got to clear that first ball out, and just that second man can't be that open.
Martz at 7 or 8 yards around him. Nobody to stop him from getting exactly the shot he wanted. Jimmy McLaughlin working on the build-up on the feed, right up the middle, turned away as Hayden got there first. Canadian Zachary Ellis Hayden picked up the yellow card on the tackle in the box on Kyle Gregg. Aiden Quinn took the PK but was unable to convert it. And boy, is that a big swing right now.
That's back to tie game very early, right? I mean, you scored that goal. Alan talks about this a lot to the guys. Manage the moments. You know, you score that penalty, you're 2-0. Psychologically, you're obviously ahead. But now, very, very quickly, the Orlando team's back in this game.
Boehner working on the right, inside of the attacking third. Brings it inside the 18. His service across the middle falls to McLaughlin, who turned on it as it was deflected out to him and didn't get a good look. way wide out along the end line.
I think the keys tonight again for FC Cincinnati's attack. We saw the first goal, obviously, Josu put a great ball in, playing in that left wing back position. Matt Boehner, again, is another athletic guy. I think he'll be a lot more effective. He can get into those higher positions and start serving balls in. He's got Kyle Gregg as a target, Jimmy McLaughlin and Wiedemann kind of inside as well. There's good options to feet too, so that's something to look for tonight as the game goes on.
Two of the top goalkeepers in the Eastern Conference battling tonight. I mentioned the 7 clean sheets for Earl Edwards Jr. Mitch Hildebrandt, one behind him with 6 in league play. They're both in the top 5 in saves, and they both allowed a goal here in the first 16 minutes. We roll on to the 17th, 1 apiece.
Say that with the 2 goalkeepers, you know, both goals that were scored, probably not much they could have done about it, really. Kyle Gregg's goal is 5 yards from it.
A header in the middle fell to Haji Berry. He pushed it wide to the right of Hildebrandt. No trouble there for Mitch. The big difference right now, the save that Edwards Jr. makes on the penalty kick.
On the penalty kick,
and
that's why I was just going to finish that thought. You know, even Mitch's, you know, that Mark's finish, not much he can do. You can't see it till late. Not expected to make those saves.
They say you found a good partner when they can finish your thoughts, right,
There
Kev?
you go.
Tom Glader, Kevin McCloskey, Lindsey Patterson, happy to be with you here at Nippert Stadium tonight. Perfect night, about 70 degrees as it's headed back to Hildebrandt from Delbridge. The club announced Thursday night over 20,000 tickets had been sold for tonight. And I would think with the weather and 48 hours since that announcement, that the USL record of 24,376 set last year here at Nippert Stadium could very well be in danger tonight. Throw-in coming for OCB near touchline right in midfield. Alston inches forward, then sends it in, comes off the foot of Berry. Somehow it stays with Orlando. Berry got it to Rocha. And it's turned away by FC Cincinnati's defense.
So far, really, since that equalizing goal, Tommy Orlando have had definitely the majority of the play in the possession.
Alston across into the middle.
Starting to get numbers here forward.
Neal will push it wide on to Marks. Scored his first goal of the season in the 14th minute to tie it up. Cross to the box, Berry heads it away. Quinn battling for it. Hayden was able to come away with it. Then Josu came over to take it off his foot. Josu sends it up the left side, but it drifts out on the touchline. Mentioned it in the news this week. Josu, a contract extension. When he originally signed with the club, he was only to be here for this summer, but enjoying his experience in the Queen City, signed a contract extension through 2018, and much to the chagrin of all the fans in the Indian Premier League who became Josu fans over the last couple of years. If you look at social media,
Did you send a letter of apology?
Really
or?
bonkers. Don't tweet about Josu unless you want to hear from Kerala Blasters fans.
Yeah.
Also in that announcement, Garrett Halfhill, who had been on an amateur contract, signed to a professional contract. So congrats to Garrett, who's been training with the club and doing a great job.
Yeah.
Rocha picks it up right outside the offensive third. Then a right-footed shot from Martz sails wide to the left. Goal kick coming from Mitch Hildebrandt. Let's go down to the pitch and check in with Lindsay.
Guys, we've talked about it being a short week for FC Cincinnati, but they tried a little cryotherapy session on Friday. Austin Berry tweeted out a photo, and it was a balmy 242 below. They exposed their body to sub-zero temperatures for faster body recovery. Kev, Tommy, you gonna give it a try?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that on the weeks where we have 3 matches, when we have 3 in 8 days, we do the same thing.
That's actually in our contract.
Yeah, it wasn't last year, but we cramped up a couple times during those busy weeks, so we got it worked out. Now, Kevin usually goes around negative 200.
I try, yeah.
242 is a little extreme.
Yeah.
Either way, I know that Ben Yass and the entire staff for FC Cincinnati do a great job at making sure they're managing the guys, their workouts, their training sessions, and doing everything they can to make sure that they are game fit, especially after a match that started with a 92-degree temperature in the air and a lot of humidity on Wednesday night.
No, I agree with that. I think all the staff did a great job with the preparation. And Tommy, at this level, that's everything. You know, the details. Anytime that you can try to get the bodies back as quickly as possible. And cryotherapy obviously is a new way of, you know, kind of projecting science in this game. But
if they had that when you were 24, you'd still be playing, right?
You get ready for the World Cup soon.
Tonight's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. Quinn picks it up and drops it back to Bone. FC Cincinnati in all blue working left to right. Bone on to Quinn.
A little bit better as far as possession. Starting to get numbers forward. Now it's just about movement, Tommy. Can be patient. Wait for that right space or angle to open up.
Boehner back to Quinn. Across the pitch to switch sides to Delbridge. He'll push up the left a bit.
I think this has been probably, in my opinion at least, one of the biggest challenges for FC Cincinnati is trying to break down teams that will sit back. You know, I think if they can improve their effectiveness when in possession, I certainly think they're going to be a more threatening team. In transition, they've been very, you know, and we talked about the three central forwards. You know, in that style, you can play behind them early, and it certainly suits the system. I think now the biggest improvement that Alan's looking for is, you know, in possession, they're giving you the ball, can you improve on it?
Anthony Poulis very upset there as the match official signaled throw in for FC Cincinnati. The fourth official and the linesman on the near side were discussing the direction. You had both players ready to throw it in for each team, and in the end, it's OCB's possession. You can hear Poulis, the native of Bristol, England, screaming from Orlando City's bench.
I think Poulis too. We've talked about, you know, the challenges of FC Cincinnati to face an MLS second team, but even as a coach trying to set up your team, I think Poulis has done a great job this season and last season actually with that, and trying to get some results. I'm sure he's not happy with the draws they've had of late, but it's always a challenge when there's players coming in and out of the squad.
Ellis Hayden just outside the 18 loses the shot, then it's taken by Rocha, deflected away, but in FC Cincinnati not able to clear the defensive third. Now Josu will, and the orange and blue will look for numbers the other way. Wiedemann with some space.
Good number situation here.
Wiedemann taps it forward to Gregg. Gregg with the flag up, unable to get it by Earl Edwards. Flag went up at the last second as Kyle Gregg probably got a step or two offside.
Just unlucky there, I think. Wiedemann was going to just release it, and Gregg had taken that extra step across that line. For a call, I think that's definitely offside. But just in transition, I just talked about it, right? I think that style of play tonight for FC Cincinnati, trying to hit Orlando on the break, I think you're going to see a lot more from that.
Alan Koch always stresses the importance of the set pieces. Haven't yet seen FC Cincinnati with a set piece inside of their attacking third, but those opportunities certainly will come as well. The transition pieces have been there so far for the orange and blue. 24th minute, 1-1 here at Nippert Stadium in the third meeting this season between these two teams. Crazy that these two have met 3 times, and FC Cincinnati hasn't yet seen New York Red Bulls 2 or Ottawa Fury. I think those are the only 2 teams in the East they have not yet played once.
I think just logistically trying to figure out the schedule obviously would be massively challenging.
This is back to the opportunity. Broken up by Josu defensively. And then Wiedemann with a great look.
Just takes his touch. Yeah. That's again, but you know, just getting back to this style and kind of the game plan, I think you'll see that with FC Cincinnati tonight. If they can find Wiedemann or if they can find McLaughlin in that space, the transition and try to counter OCB, I really think they're going to get a lot of success from it.
Kevin, you and I talked about it off the air. Well, we had our dinner about an hour before we came on. And
tell them what I had, Tommy. Come on, you've been giving me.
You had a salad.
Okay, thank you.
That's all. Some tomatoes and lettuce. Very simple. Boehner with a big-time run to pick it up. Leaves it into the middle. McLaughlin, and Edwards makes the save. Boehner made something happen, and Jimmy McLaughlin so close to making it 2-1. Now Barry flying down the left side, battling with the Vit. Pulls it outside the 18. Barry will take a shot, deflected by Austin Barry. OCB keeps it alive. Vit did well there to make sure his arm didn't catch that ball, was awkwardly bouncing in front of him.
Yeah, Haji Barry too, he's going to be a handful for Orlando tonight. Sander Vit's he's got to keep track of any of those runs from him. Try to keep him in his pocket, which is going to be a really tough job to do. Haji
Barry tied for the team lead with 3 goals on the season. He's made 4 MLS starts with the senior team. De Silva's going to chase it into the corner with Boehner trailing. De Silva across the middle. Hildebrandt pulls it down nicely.
That game's starting to open up a little bit, Tommy, now, right?
Yeah.
Kind of end-to-end stuff.
Much like we saw probably for the first 5 or 6 minutes. Collision in the midfield. Wiedemann is taken down. Foul is called, and FC Cincinnati will be able to put it back into play. Bone up the middle for McLaughlin. To the right, Boehner, and back to McLaughlin. Barry back to DeVitt. Haji Barry will immediately bring pressure.
Good ball.
Quinn forward on the Bone. Over to the left, was looking for Wiedemann. Sailed a bit high. Andrew able to pull it down. Gives it off to McLaughlin. Into the middle. And missed both his targets, Wiedemann and Gregg, behind their back.
Surprised Matt Boehner didn't step towards that ball coming in. Just so happened it went all the way back to the edge of that box.
They've gotten away from Jimmy a little bit. Either way, as we stand at 1-1, FC Cincinnati has created great opportunities tonight. The ball where Gregg was offside, the ball where Gregg was taken down in the box.
Well, like I said, I think the key for them is trying to get in behind it as often and as early as they can.
Alston across the midfield heads it into FC Cincinnati's bench. Quick throw in for the home side. Will be stopped. And now Austin Barry will put it back into play.
You see Wiedemann coming across. Now you see the movement too. If you watch this at home, just between him and Jimmy, they've got a great understanding. They kind of switch sides and flanks quite often as the game goes on tonight.
Quinn up to Wiedemann. Wiedemann trying to get into the box to McLaughlin, turned away by Orlando, who closed in defensively in a hurry. Roach up the middle, finds Barry. Delbridge following, flag went up far side.
It's a great run by Haji too. See this in the replay, it's going to be close.
Both teams with opportunities in the last 5 minutes, scoring-wise. Turned away by the flag.
Orlando did a good job of picking up here.
Probably
just a little bit offside, yeah. Good run by Haji though. Good change of direction.
Corbin Bone will be called for a foul. Gave a little tug at the jersey. And OCB will get a free kick right at the midfield stripe.
A lot of space in behind here if we could find him.
Josu up the left side. Sends it across the middle. Kyle Gregg trying to get there. Contact is made as Edwards punched it away before Gregg could get to the ball. OCB will race into the midfield.
The dangerous bowling by Josu. Really testing Edwards.
Josu, another guy who did not play. We talked about McLaughlin with fresh legs. That was the point I was getting to when we were talking about our dinner date at 6 o'clock tonight.
I've got to stop you. Tommy's been giving me a lot of stick about cookies, so that's why I wanted to clarify.
That you had a salad
what
tonight.
I had. Okay.
Okay. But did you have any cookies after the salad?
We can go on.
I mean,
negative.
Okay. I didn't know which direction you wanted to go in there. Send DeVitt up to Josu and deflected away by Lewis Neal. Throw-in will come from Josu on the far side, but before we got carried away with our meal conversation, Jimmy McLaughlin, fresh legs. He was on the trip to Miami, did not play. Josu stayed back, so he rested on Wednesday. Kyle Gregg was not eligible for that match, so he didn't make the trip. Rested for tonight.
I think just, again, the options of Josu and Jimmy McLaughlin playing.
Barry into the middle, De Silva. De Silva with a shot and a huge save from Mitch Hildebrandt.
What a save.
Harrison Delbridge fell down on the play, thought that there should have been a foul. That set up the shot from De Silva. FC Cincinnati will push the other way with chance of Mitch says no coming from the Bailey.
I say that's probably one of Mitch's best saves all season.
That's at 12, 14 yards out.
Yeah, pure reflex save. But strong hand that pushes it wide. We were just talking earlier, just before that opportunity, Tommy, just to be able to have Jimmy and Josu, guys like that are rested.
Boehner down the right side. Into the middle, deflected away from Wiedemann at the last minute. De Silva going to try to push the other way. DeVitt missed on the defensive play, then Quinn steps up and makes the stop. Very fast pace to this match.
Yeah, open game.
Wiedemann across the box, too strong. McLaughlin unable to catch up with it. Martz comes back to play it. Then Hayden trying to push it up the right side as it deflects off of McLaughlin, and he'll throw it in.
I think anytime that a game opens up this quickly and this fast, Tommy, it's the team really that makes the least amount of mistakes, usually is in control. A lot of pressure in transition. I'm sure Alan's going to be talking a lot at halftime about concentration and focus.
Delbridge and Barry, two of the three starting center backs tonight, knocking it back and forth. Delbridge across to Boehner. Quinn into the middle to Vitt. On to the left, Josu pulls it down in the final third.
Really impressed so far tonight. Harrison, DeVitt. I think their distribution out of the back has been spot on. Able to find those wide channels. We talked about Kyle a lot, but a guy like Sam DeVitt, to me, Tommy's been very impressive.
DeVitt got it to Wiedemann. Now McLaughlin. Bone onto his foot. Wiedemann takes a left-footed shot. It's turned away by Ellis Hayden. Throw in for FC Cincinnati. Josu into DeVitt. Bone cutting across onto the foot of McLaughlin. Just outside the 18. Left-footed shot deflected away by Seb Hines. And that ball looked like it was going to skip out along the end line. Really slowed down. Edwards was able to come over and save it. Would have been the first corner kick of the night.
Yeah, tough shot for Jimmy. He's going, directly across, parallel to the box, and to try to turn your hips and try to get a shot off, it's hard technique to pull off.
Tonight's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by your Tri-State Chevy dealers. And these two teams played to a 1-1 draw back on July 1st. Both goals came in the first 14 minutes. Tonight, both goals in the first 14 minutes. McLaughlin working at the corner of the 18, poked it into the middle for Wiedemann, who had stopped his run, never quite got there.
Yeah, unlucky.
Ball sent forward. DeVitt Heads it down. It was intended for Haji Berry. Delbridge off a ball coming towards his defensive third. Has it come off the side of his foot. OCB quick to throw it back in. Neal forward to Silva. Berry pokes it away, and now the match's first corner kick will come in the 36th minute. All of tonight's corner kicks are brought to you by the Levy Law Offices. Turn your crash into cash. Visit LevyLawOffices.com today.
See if FC Cincinnati can improve now on these set pieces. They conceded obviously from a throw early on. Wasn't even it was the first ball and the second ball really trying to clear lines.
De Silva with his left foot sends it across. Ball bounces outside the 18. Close will strike it, and it sails about 10 yards high. Kyle Gregg, who is back defending the play, is down on his knees, hunched over. Match official comes over to check on him, and Gregg appears to be okay. Alan Koch has talked about taking care of the home opportunities, and in USL play, FC Cincinnati is running out of opportunities here at home. After tonight, only 3 regular season home matches. The Cubs will spend 7 of their final 10 USL games on the road, so it'll be a tough stretch. That means you got to get 3 points every time you're at home.
Yeah, and tonight's massive, Tommy. 7 out of 10, like you talked about on the road, is a hard task for any team.
Marks with a right-footed shot, turned away by Austin Berry. Throw incoming OCB, far touchline. Marks working with Ellis Hayden. Back to the foot of close. Ellis Hayden unable to keep it in on the end line, and a goal kick coming for Hildebrandt. Mitch Hildebrandt with 4 clean sheets now in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, has 10 in 2017 when you combine the Open Cup with his USL play.
Just get up with a big save like we talked about, Tommy.
There's some big defensive moments on Wednesday night against Miami FC. Delbert trying to keep it in on a long run to the end line, unable to do so. Another corner coming for OCB.
I think for the fan, they're probably pretty excited about this game, how open and frantic it is. I think both coaches are probably going in at halftime kind of disappointed, really. A lot of space, a lot of mistakes that I talked about. So I'm sure there's going to be stern words in both locker rooms at halftime.
This corner kick is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices. Turn your crash into cash. Visit LevyLawOffices.com today. De Silva will take it again from the near corner. Across the middle, Delbridge heads it out. Marks pulls it down. Takes a right-footed shot and sends it wide to Mitch Hildebrandt. And when you look at it, this game could easily be 3-2.
Yeah.
With a penalty kick that was saved. A couple other opportunities for FC Cincinnati in front. A great opportunity for Orlando that was saved by Mitch Hildebrandt.
I just think defensively, you talked about set pieces. I think just even defensive starting positions too. It's, if I'm the coach, I'm going in there and said, hey, it's not good enough. It's got to be tighter. Got to stop giving the opponent kind of opportunities.
Edwards sent it out across midfield. It came off the chest of Josu, and quickly a throw-in for the visitors. But Berry unable to keep control of it, and FC Cincinnati wins it right back.
A guy like Barry tonight too is going to be trying to run at least. I talk about DeVitt, Harrison Delbridge, Austin Barry. He's going to be trying to run them ragged. He's a quick, fast guy. These guys all played obviously on Wednesday.
Third match in 8 days for both of these clubs. Orlando City, a 0-0 draw at home against Harrisburg City on Wednesday.
It's better by Boehner.
Boehner to the middle, now Quinn over to Boehner inside the 18. Matt's been active here in the first half. Quinn on to Gregg, and flag went up near side. Ellis Hayden cleared it at the last moment, but second time tonight, Kyle Gregg's been caught offside.
Yeah, good first touch. You know, he gets himself set, but obviously he's a yard offside. Much play. I think it all really starts from Matt Boehner getting into that higher position and having the confidence. So much better from him in that approach. I'm sure Allen's going to encourage it a lot more in the second half. I really think him and Josu can be the difference in this game tonight.
The fullbacks have free roam to work up. However, when Josu's working up, then Boehner's got to sit back a little bit to provide some protection for the orange and blue. So some matches when it's really working on the left side with Josu, Boehner may not have that opportunity. Tonight, Boehner has had a lot of opportunity. Josu has as well, picking up the assist on the goal by Kyle Gregg. Quinn fighting to take it back in the midfield is going to be booked.
I think Pulis is too happy with that tackle either.
Came in from behind on Tony Rocha.
I think there's any intent, Tommy. I think it's just a badly timed tackle.
Now that yellow card on Aiden Quinn is his 5th. So Quinn will be suspended next week when FC Cincinnati takes on Louisville City.
Yeah, you know, he's fighting for the ball. It's a bit of a reckless tackle. It is. I think that's fair, actually. I don't think there was any intent, though, by him. So there was a dispossession, and he really tried to sacrifice his body towards it.
Harrison Delbridge pokes it away from Haji Berry on the end line. It'll be a corner kick for Orlando City, their 3rd of the first half. So Quinn won't be able to play next Saturday. GB will be back from his 1-match suspension. Dallas J was suspended for 2 matches after being sent off from the bench. He will have to sit out next Saturday as well. Pierre De Silva makes the long walk to the far side where he'll take the corner kick. 1-1 match in the 43rd minute. Bone and Josu protecting the short corner. It appears that Gregg and Seb Hines were getting tangled up inside of the 18.
A little bit of push and shove, I think, Tommy, nothing too serious.
Bardo Pushai will come over the match official, have a conversation with the 2 veterans. And now De Silva will set to bring it into play from the corner. Across the middle, headed down. McLaughlin over to clear it away.
Hines was the intended target on that, too.
Ellis Hayden with a shot just high over the frame. Good look there for the Canadian.
My opinion, this is where FC have to start, get the rhythm back a little bit quicker, start their attacks a little faster. Try not to let, you know, Orlando get back in set.
Hildebrand sends it out in the midfield. Gregg heads it down. Andrew Wiedemann nearly went flying into the structure that shields the visiting team. Able to get out of the way at the last moment. Alston will head it out on the touchline. Wiedemann will throw it in. Boehner was looking for the ball on his foot right away. Now Matt Boehner, who usually handles the throw-ins on the right side, will come over to take it.
Seems like a little tiredness creeping in, Tommy. Not that usual, you know, kind of eagerness to go at teams. We saw it right at the start, obviously. Yeah. Fantastic start. Open in 15, 20 minutes probably, but since then it's kind of slowed down a little bit.
Well, Josu will come over near side as FC Cincinnati earns their first corner of the evening.
Certainly dangerous enough from set pieces too. Big targets in the box for FC Cincinnati.
Delbridge playing up, DeVitt, Barry. That means Bone, Boehner, and Quinn have to provide the preventative coverage. Josu's cross is sent away. Back to Josu. He tried to turn it up to Wiedemann and didn't quite get there.
Got to deal with this here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated.
Sometimes it's better, Tommy, just to put that ball out over the line. Get your shape back now. It's a counter for OCB. A lot of space on this far side.
Minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time as the clock rolls past the 45th minute. Hayden forward to Barry. Barry inside the 18. Josu with a big defensive play.
As well. Good tackle.
Then he sends it forward for Gregg. An arm was wrapped around Kyle Gregg, and we're going to see the second yellow card tonight given out to OCB.
Another example of Cal doing really well, kind of back to goal, except Hines just pulls him back. Too much to deal with, really, Tommy. Lost position again. Cal's done a great job of kind of spinning that centre back, and Seb Hines has to commit the foul.
Fifth yellow card on the season for Seb Hines, so he has also now earned a USL suspension for accumulation. Cross into the box was intended for DeVitt. Flag came up.
Call for offside.
Free kick, yeah, for Edwards. He's going to try to get something going in transition with all the center backs forward for the orange and blue. Matt Boehner going to pull it into the middle, and a nice job by Boehner to stay with it there.
Did well. That last play that I talked about on the header, I thought he should have just honestly put it over the touchline and regrouped a little bit, but did very well under pressure that occasion.
Jimmy McLaughlin was taken down after a collision from Ellis Hayden. Ellis Hayden, I think, came over to apologize. Jimmy wanted nothing to do with it. I didn't see the contact.
I think it was just a late hit, Tommy. Jimmy played that ball across to Boehner. I think Hayden just comes in and catches him.
And now, a proper hug out in midfield between McLaughlin and Hayden. Hildebrandt signaled to put it back into play, and maybe a few seconds left on the clock here. Austin Barriel headed down for Boehner. Is there enough time for one more run for FC Cincinnati? Wiedemann gets it on his foot. Back to Boehner. Now Wiedemann, it's poked away. OCB into the midfield, Barry. Austin Barry comes forward to take it off his foot. Knocked down, no foul is called. Haji Barry picks it back up for OCB. We have Austin tracking him from behind.
Another good interception there by Josu.
Josu poked it forward for Jimmy McLaughlin, who thought he had a lot of room to work with, working left to right. And instead, the first half whistle was blown. And each of these clubs will head to the locker room with the score 1-1. All of our sideline reports are brought to you by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. Let's head down to the pitch and check in with Lindsay, who's with Alan Koch.
Coach, the match started off pretty fast. You guys were creating some early opportunities out there. It started to slow down the last 15 to 20 minutes. What's the message at the half?
Well, I think we obviously had a good start scoring early, and then obviously creating the penalty kick. When we don't score that, obviously takes a little bit of life out of us, and we have to manage that a lot better than we did. It gave them an opportunity to get back into the game. They obviously took it, and then to be quite fair, I think over the course of the full 45 minutes, they were probably the better team. So we're going to have to raise our energy, match the tempo that they're playing at, and then obviously focus on taking care of the little details.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. We appreciate the time of Alan Koch. As always, 45 minutes of soccer in the books, still 45 more to come your way. When we return to Nippert Stadium, you get to know Josu. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer.
Seb's going to be a player, obviously he's starting right center back at the minute, but Jimmy's that player that likes to get in.
Josu to Greg, and an early strike for the Orange FC Cincinnati.
Jimmy's that player that likes to get in.
Josu to Greg, and an early strike. Welcome back to halftime here at Nippert Stadium, where earlier this week it was announced that number 99 in orange and blue, Josu, has signed a contract extension that'll keep him here in the Queen City through 2018. Today we get a chance to know the Spaniard.
Well, since I reached here, all the players have helped me in everything. Danny or Dean, because my roommate, but all the teammates have helped me a lot. I think everybody who started to play football as a young kid have in his mentality to someday play for Barcelona. I think it was my dream since I was a kid, since I started to play football, and also was the dream of my family. You learn a lot because I think not only on the pitch, outside of the pitch also, because they try to make you a person, because you live alone, you are living without your family. So I think you learn in all of things like football, of course, but then to survive, to survive.
Now Josu is next for FC Cincinnati, the new arrival here, the Spaniard from the Barcelona Academy, Josu! Well, that's what they teach him at La Masia. Cool and calm.
Technically, that penalty was perfect. Opened up the hits, got Lampson going the wrong way, buried it.
Oh, the fans here is unbelievable. That's one of the reasons that I came here to play, because I spoke with Alan before I came here. I spoke with some of the guys, and they told me that here the atmosphere in every game is unbelievable, and I could see with my eyes.
A midfielder from Gerona, Spain, number 99.
I try to play in all positions that the coach asked me to play, and I think this is a good thing for me, because I can play different roles, different positions. But like I say, for me, it doesn't matter which position I play. I want to play even if it's goalkeeper.
Josu and his FC Cincinnati teammates currently in the changing room as we are at the half. When we return, we'll take a look around the USL and still to come highlights from the first 45 minutes. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America Let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
Few teams in the league are hotter than the Charlotte Independents. The club is currently on a 10-game undefeated streak, which moved it into second place in the Eastern Conference entering Week 20, just 1 point back of the Charleston Battery.
Herrera, he put it in from the corner! Jorge Herrera, the Olympico!
During the run, Charlotte has outscored opponents 23-7. Jorge Herrera has notched 9 goals during the streak, while 2016 USL MVP finalist Enzo Martinez has added 5. In order to run their streak to 11 games this weekend, the Independents have to get past Louisville City FC, a team sitting in third in the Eastern Conference, just 1 point behind Charlotte. Louisville handed Charlotte its last defeat on June 7th with a 1-0 win at Slugger Field. Back in front of their home fans at the Sportsplex at Matthews on Saturday, the Independents will look for a little revenge and potentially the top spot in the Eastern Conference standings. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
Open road, here comes the Heffley family.
Whether it's a short trip or a long haul.
Estimated time, 47 hours.
They will beg.
You're hungry? I'm happy to provide.
They will plead.
Deep fried butter on a stick.
But whatever you do, don't wimp out.
Now you're talking.
Make them buckle up.
He can't hurt.
Remember, safety first. Cheese curls second.
Are you orange?
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.
Tom Glader and Kevin McCloskey back with you at Nippert Stadium, where a large crowd in excess of 20,000 on hand. FC Cincinnati and Orlando City B currently tied at 1 apiece. Back here in the booth, Kevin, as we get you set for the second half, and you look at FC Cincinnati, you heard it from Alan Koch. Wasn't real happy with the first 45 minutes, but at times FC Cincinnati did a lot of things very well over the course of the first half.
Yeah, I think obviously they started really fast and scored those goals. I think for the most part, I think Orlando actually had the better possession. I think FC Cincinnati created some good chances, but overall I think Orlando probably edged them out. I think Alan's looking at the half and saying, okay, what adjustments can we make in the second half?
Well, they're in the dressing room right now talking those things over. In the meantime, it's time to take a look at tonight's highlights, which are delivered by PapaJohns.com. When FC scores twice, you get half-price pizzas online. Code FCPizza50. And goal number 1 came right away from Kyle Gregg.
Great early ball by Josu. Good patience to find Josu in the space. Looks up. Great whip ball in with his left foot. And Kyle Gregg, again, great technique to get the go-ahead goal.
So Kyle Gregg is first in an FC Cincinnati uniform, and then the penalty kick from Aiden Quinn and Earl Edwards. Guessed right, dove right, and made the save.
And what a chance that would have been to go 2 up. It totally changes the game, but great save by Edwards, and unfortunately not. This is the goal here from Marks. Ball doesn't get cleared correctly, and fantastic first-time finish to score.
Then FC Cincinnati had some opportunities back the other way to go back on top. Wiedemann working with Kyle Gregg. Flag went up there. We saw a couple offside, but good chances created the other way.
Yeah, another example of a quick counter-attack by FC Cincinnati. Wiedemann found a lot of space, and Kyle Gregg just unlucky with the timing of his run, but again, another good opportunity, like you said, Tommy.
You talked about the possession, in your opinion, being in favor of OCB. 12 shots for the visitors compared to 5 for FC Cincinnati. The possession a little bit favored towards OCB as well. Lindsay Patterson out of the changing room where she was with the team. Let's head down the sideline and check in with the third member of our broadcast team.
Yeah, guys, I just left the changing room, and Alan Koch's message, the first 10 minutes, great, but the last 35, not good enough. You guys have a job to do out there. They're going to change things up, but one thing he did preach, when you see the moment, take advantage of it. It is a brand new game. The upcoming schedule is brought to you by Audi Cincinnati. He's bringing you the ultimate Audi experience on Beachmont Avenue. Next Saturday, they travel down I-71 to Louisville. Back home for the U.S. Open Cup, August 15th versus New York Red Bulls. The Final Four there. Back to league play against New York Red Bulls 2 on August 19th.
Thank you, Lindsay. Figure that one out. FC Cincinnati will play New York Red Bulls of Major League Soccer before they see New York Red Bulls 2 of the USL. Both teams out of their respective changing rooms, and we talked about it a little bit, maybe some adjustments for both clubs right off the top when we came back from the break. If you're Alan Koch, what is the little tweak you make at this point to get some more of that possession in your favor?
It's tough. You're looking at early what was productive for FC Cincinnati. I think hitting Kyle Gregg in space early is definitely been a very effective approach. I think they really struggle with possession. Kind of once they get set in possession, Orlando gets back in and sets up defensively well. They need to improve patience. So to answer your question, Tommy, I think it's finding maybe a little bit more support underneath Kyle Gregg, if that's Aiden Quinn or maybe Corbin Bone, or it's a change of systems where they try to bring an extra player in between Orlando's 2 center backs. But they've got to get numbers in between the width of the 18, I think, and really try to stretch Orlando to try to penetrate.
Orlando City's going to make a change right away and take Kevin Alston, the defender out of Washington, D.C., out of the match. Zach Carroll, who started 11 matches this season, will come in off the bench for just the 3rd time this year. Has played almost 1,000 minutes. A Michigan native comes on, so some fresh legs defensively for Anthony Poulis. No changes for Alan Koch out of the dressing room, and we'll get set to start the second half with the match tied at 1 apiece. Orlando City in their all-white kits, working left to right and earning the first touch after FC Cincinnati got it to start the first half. Harrison Delbridge will head it away, and a throw in inside the attacking third coming for OCB.
I think what you might see, Tommy, in this defensive plan for FC Cincinnati is kind of back off a little bit, You know, they're certainly not going to press in Orlando's half. Allow Orlando to get numbers forward, then try to hit them on the break on the counter like we talked about.
Haji Berry worked his way into the 18, sends it into the middle. Austin Berry uses his chest to knock it away. And quickly FC Cincinnati out into the midfield. McLaughlin is taken down hard, and that's going to be a red card. If there's a second yellow here from the match official, Hayden is running away. And it's not. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun.
No, I think
I thought it was going to be a second yellow.
You know, it might have been a bookable offense. I think the referee did a good job of kind of taking a second, you know, not shooting from the hip. Tackle from behind. I think he gets the ball, honestly, but, you know, he calls the foul, which is one thing. If it's a tackle from behind, it's a foul. Really, it should be a yellow card. But
Quinn down the right side for Wiedemann. Tries to center it. Headed away by the sub, Zach Carroll. Along the end line, FC Cincinnati will have a corner kick here early in the second half.
I think the referee did a good job, though, just kind of taking his time and making the right decision there.
All of tonight's corner kicks are brought to you by the Levy Law Offices. Turn your crash into cash. Visit LevyLawOffices.com today. Josu will take it from the far corner. Across the middle. Bouncing in front of Sem DeVitt. Now out to McLaughlin. Sent the other way by OCB. Hildebrandt's going to have to come.
Be careful of his bouncing ball.
35, 40 yards off the line to send it out into the midfield. Corbin Bone making a run up the middle of the pitch.
Better.
Bone onto the left, Greg. Greg in the box with a left-footed shot, and it sails just high into the Bailey.
Much, much better. I just talked about that space kind of underneath the target forward. Corbin Bone does a great job of kind of collecting, penetrating into the space. Kyle Greg just unlucky that he can't get that shot on target.
Talked about what changes Alan Koch might make. Only one sub is warming up right now. That's Kenny Walker, the midfielder who didn't start today. Doesn't necessarily mean he's coming in real soon. He may just feel he needs some extra time to be ready.
You know, and sometimes it's not always, you know, a change isn't always the right thing, right? You've got to go back out after the words and after the instruction at halftime. How do the players adapt? How do they adjust to it? And how they come out? And a lot of times, you know, a coach will try to do that with his players to give them a chance to respond and improve.
Handball called in the midfield, unintentional. Austin Berry will put it back into play to Delbridge and onto the left, Josu. Josu, nice pass forward for McLaughlin. Cross into the 6, bounces at the end line and out. Goal kick coming up for Earl Edwards Jr. Tonight's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by the Montgomery Inn. Edwards will wait for his guys to push forward into the midfield. And then set to put his right foot onto it in the 49th minute. Third meeting of the season between these two clubs. They had a 1-1 draw in Orlando and a 2-0 victory for OCB here back in May.
Oh, dangerous ball again by Wiedemann.
Wiedemann was looking for Kyle Gregg, who's been active in his first start for the Orange and Blue. Haji Berry with pressure from Austin Berry at midfield. And Austin Berry will be called for a foul on the tackle. Knocked down Leo Pereira, the native of Brazil. Pereira tonight making his 7th start of the season. Haji Berry leaves it.
Yeah.
Sent across the middle. Josu inside of the 6, picked it up in a dangerous spot.
It's dangerous. I think Harrison probably should have stepped really on that pass. Keeps the Orlando player on, and a dangerous ball across the front of the goal.
Tell you what, Orlando's impressed me tonight with their crosses inside of the 18 and especially the 6. They put the ball there in dangerous spots, just haven't always been able to convert it.
No, and we talked about the experience, but the quality of those players that are at that level, that next level, which is MLS. You know, technically they're going to be able to open up things just by the range of pass, the execution of the pass.
McLaughlin working up the left. Drops it for Quinn and then gets it back at the corner of the 18. Pulling it across the top of the 18 now. left it for Boehner, but it was broken up by Tony Rocha, the native of Texas.
Could well get back, actually.
Jimmy unable to keep possession across the middle. Aiden Quinn's going to have to come back to pick it up.
It's a good decision by Aiden Quinn, too. Josu's kind of dropping in, but doesn't see pressure coming from, it might have been Hayward, actually. Made the right decision to turn and just clear the lines. Sorry, Hayden, I apologize.
Hayden up the right side. Mark swiping on it. Corbin Bone able to come over. I mentioned the celebration by Kyle Gregg after his first goal for the club, putting a soccer ball under his jersey. His wife is pregnant, due in January, well timed during the offseason. Austin Berry, his wife Annie, is due in the next 2 weeks, so it's going to be an eventful month of August.
It's going to be a different challenge from January, I would say.
Corbin and Annie, certainly exciting days ahead. Hayden knocks it down, then Corbin Bone regains possession in the midfield. Delbridge behind his back, over to the left, Josu. Delbridge right up the middle, a deflected ball falls to the foot of Corbin Bone. Bone to his left, finds Wiedemann. Wiedemann trying to get the shot off. It's deflected and well defended by OCB.
Got to be patient. I think if Corbin takes that extra touch and delays for a second, he's got Matt Boehner in at the back post all on his own.
Martz crosses it in to Berry. Haji Berry will drop it for Lewis Neal, who takes a shot, but no trouble there for Mitch Hildebrandt.
Just starting to see, obviously, the change of shape here a little bit for FC Cincinnati, kind of going into a back four. Sam DeWitt kind of pushing up into midfield. It really allows the fullbacks then to get higher up the field and support, like I talked about, Wiedemann and Kyle Gregg.
Wiedemann will drop it to McLaughlin. Into the midfield, Josu. Josu picked up his third assist of the season in the 7th minute on the goal by Kyle Gregg. Quinn will push it back to Hildebrandt. And Mitch sends it forward in the direction of Gregg. Turned away by the visitors.
Well played by Aiden Quinn. I've been impressed with him tonight. I know he disappointed with that penalty miss, but just on the other sides of the ball, kind of working back hard defensively. Doing a good job of kind of linking the play in midfield. Certainly work hard to kind of support that movement of the ball.
Bone was looking for Boehner. Deflected away by Orlando. Quickly throws it in. Now Wiedemann looking into the box for Gregg. Headed away. Josu comes forward to keep it alive. McLaughlin looking far post for Wiedemann. Again, strong defensive shape from OCB, and Hayden able to clear it away.
Better by Harrison Delbridge too on Haji.
Rocha in transition will play it forward for Haji Berry. Trouble here. Berry with a right-footed shot, and OCB has a 2-1 lead thanks to the transition goal.
I just talked about, I was giving Harrison a compliment of doing well to kind of make Haji Berry go back. The problem then is he's lost his man and spun him, and Haji Berry finds nothing but space, and gotta say, it takes a touch, looks up to see where Mitch is. It's a clinical finish.
Went far post, and Haji Berry has his team leading 4th goal on the season.
I talked in the first half, Tommy, he's a player, you just can't give him that space. You know, you've got to know where he's at all times. Harrison, I thought, did a great job of forcing him back, and then Haji Berry spins, finds that pocket of space, and Orlando were able to find him. And what a great finish that was.
Well, and Koch is going to use his first sub of the night, and he'll bring in Kenny Walker. who will replace Aiden Quinn. Quinn tonight made his 12th start on the season. So Walker coming off the bench. It's the first match he'll appear in this year where he comes off the bench.
Yeah.
The 17 he had played in previously, he had started each of the 17. Has played now almost 1,500 minutes this season.
I think, you know, Aiden Quinn, I don't think he played badly. Just talked about it, being impressed with kind of his movement, his support. I think one thing that Alan thought through at least is Aiden Quinn played a lot of minutes on that Wednesday game. Kenny Walker's been a solid starter and a fantastic player for FC Cincinnati, and obviously being able to bring him off the bench tonight can definitely give that extra edge and that hopefully that extra level of physicality.
Jimmy McLaughlin was called for offside, so a free kick coming here for Earl Edwards Jr. So each coach has used in a substitution here in the second half. Koch goes to his bench a little earlier than we usually see. Walker maybe can give FC Cincinnati a spark, trailing by a goal in a crucial home match here at Nippert Stadium. The Orange and Blue right now sit in 6th place in the East with 30 points. Orlando City currently out of the playoff picture in 11th place, 6 points behind Cincinnati.
Be a big swing tonight then, Tommy.
I mentioned the home opportunities. This was one that FC Cincinnati knew coming in. You had to find a way to get 3 points.
Got to get 3 points.
Keep the momentum going in league play. Team since June 1st has been fantastic in the league.
No, I agree. I feel like the performances, like you said, since the start of June, I think have been excellent. I think they've had some decent chances tonight, but they've got to try to get it right.
Josu looking to create something, sent it into the middle. Kyle Gregg couldn't turn on it. Josu, the last line of defense, has to come all the way back to get to it because the big targets were playing forward on that free kick. Barry heads it into the middle. Delbridge has it on his foot. Corbin Bone comes over to collect. Bone working inside the 18. Into the middle. Edwards Jr. deflects it away.
Yeah.
Corner kick coming up for the Orange and Blue.
You can see it by Edwards.
All of tonight's corner kicks are brought to you by the Levy Law Offices. Turn your crash into cash. Visit LevyLawOffices.com today. Josu will go over to take the corner. FC Cincinnati looking for an equalizer. Onto the foot of Walker. Back to Josu. Into the 18. Gregg doesn't get the header and is instead called for the foul in the box. Ball will be sent all the way back to just outside the 6-yard area. And that is where Edwards will put it back into play with his club leading 2-1. In league play, FC Cincinnati will play their next 2 on the road. And as I mentioned, 7 of the last 10 away from the friendly confines of Nippert Stadium. If you didn't hear, a home match has been added to the schedule.
Yeah.
And if you didn't hear, you may be living under a rock. But the Open Cup run continues August 15th. 8 p.m. is the tentative start time. Broadcast details on that are still coming together, and we hope to have those for you early next week. But the U.S. Open Cup semifinal will be played August 15th here at Nippert Stadium against New York Red Bulls.
I wonder, Tommy, too, how much of that impacts. It's great that they're progressing. It's a fantastic achievement, obviously, for everyone involved that they're getting to those stages. But how much of an impact that's going to have on league performance, maybe even tonight and future games, It's a lot of added games to put into what already is a really tight schedule.
Haji Berry inside the 18. It falls out to Martz, who hits a shot. It deflects off FC Cincinnati over the frame. Corner kick coming up for Orlando City B. And there's no question. FC Cincinnati has already played 5 additional matches in Open Cup play. They had the 6th international friendly against Valencia. That was obviously planned. You knew you'd have at least 1 Open Cup match. Last year, FC Cincinnati played 2 Open Cup matches. So It's a big difference.
We're 60 minutes into the game now. A lot of time left, obviously, but you know, we talked about how they're going to set up after halftime. I talked about whether or not they'll make changes. I think we're going to see changes.
Remember, Danny Koenig is available for Alan Koch. He's wandering down near the subs right now. Danny Koenig has 7 goals this season.
Yeah.
Certainly could be a boost for the orange and blue coming on here for, say, maybe the final 25 minutes.
Maybe change into maybe a 3-5-2 as well.
Yeah.
I think, you know, longer this game goes on, if it stays at that scoreline, they've got to be the aggressor, take one out of the back. You look at a partnership with Danny Koenig and Kyle Gregg up top. Certainly cause problems.
Off the foot of Bone on the feed from McLaughlin. OCB able to recover, and it was Koenig that I saw Alan Koch with his arm around down near the subs where they're warming up. So that certainly could be the next one on for the orange and blue. Bone sent it into the middle. Boehner getting there, trying to pick it up.
Corner kick.
And a corner kick coming here for FC Cincinnati. Could this be the moment?
I think another guy, maybe Kevin Schindler.
Yeah.
We talked about new signings, right? And this could be, I talked about that as a key tonight. Big German lad that certainly has a ton of experience. And the hardest part for him, I think, is really he's kind of in preseason mode coming across from Europe.
Josu on the corner in the 63rd minute. Delbridge got his head on it. Deflects off of OCB, and Josu will get another crack at it. Set pieces is something this club spends a lot of time on. Alan Koch prides himself on his club being able to finish them, and they need one here. Josu again with his left foot.
Great ball again.
Into the box, bouncing around and cleared at the last moment by Orlando City. Bone and McLaughlin trying to push the tempo up the left side. On to Walker. Over to the right, Boehner. Walker with his left foot. Back to Josu.
Just needs a little bit of support here if he can get it.
Josu with a nutmeg. Got around March. Josu trying to keep it alive, and Hayden came over to help and break up the youngsters' run.
Well, it turned out he did need support after all. Found in the open legs the Orlando player.
Hildebrand sending it forward to Wiedemann as an anxious record crowd here at Nippert Stadium. Hoping to see a couple more goals from the orange and blue. Give you that number here in a moment. DeVitt on the right. Forward to Boehner. He split two of his teammates. OCB picks it back up and a work left to right.
Near perfect conditions too, Tommy, for tonight's game.
Oh, not surprised to see the first ever regular season USL match in excess of 25,000 here tonight, and that is what the case is. 25,308. A new USL regular season record attendance.
Spectacular again. Great support from the city.
The buzz builds as Josu sends it across the box. And it bounces over Kyle Gregg. The previous record was 24,376, set against Orlando City B on September 17th of last season. Wiedemann gets around a defender into the box. Wiedemann trying to get it into the middle, wanted a handball called. It won't be the case. Boehner keeps it alive at the edge of the attacking third. Walker into the box. Gregg knocked down in the box. The match official wasn't even looking in Kyle Gregg's direction. I mean, he wasn't, was he? He was watching the ball?
I think Gregg sells it a little bit. Good ball in. He's kind of going up for it, and I think he sells that just a little bit. But
well, you're going to hear the roar from the crowd here as the attendance is announced. 25,308. Again, a regular season USL attendance record. The city has shown up once again.
Nippert Stadium against Orlando City B on September 17, 2016. Thank you for
DeVitt keeps it alive in the midfield.
I think the energy certainly, Tommy's been a lot better since they've conceded that goal. Maybe even Kenny Walker coming in to add a little bit of extra attack into FC Cincinnati's plan.
Josu's service knocked out on the end line. Another corner kick coming. Alan Koch is getting set to bring 2 subs into the match at the same time. It was the one I talked about and the one you talked about.
He's got to do that, you know. You've got that Arsenal sitting on the bench. Obviously, with the scoreline right now, got to try to change this game, and hopefully, if he can, maybe get something from this corner kick.
Kenny Walker will take this one. 67th minute. Into the middle, headed across, and then Delbridge far post got it. Barry missed on the initial cross. A great ball from Kenny Walker, and Delbridge wasn't able to bury it. Tonight's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. Whole lot of size coming on for Alan Koch here with these 2 subs. And one of the OCB players having a hard time coming up the pitch, might be cramping up. As it'll give an opportunity for everybody to hydrate, and Alan Koch a chance to talk things over with his team.
It's going to be interesting to see who comes out.
Well, I can tell you here, Sem DeVitt is coming out for Schindler.
Okay.
And then Wiedemann is coming out for Danny Koenig. So probably that 3-5-2 you discussed, going to be the change for Allen. And you can see he's talking to Jimmy McLaughlin about that formation right now.
Just having Schindler, Kyle Gregg, Danny Koenig all on at the same time. Talk about athleticism. That's certainly going to be in the game physically, but obviously the difference now is you've got to put the ball in the back of the net.
Schindler listed at 6'3", and that might not be giving him enough credit. He looks me in the eye, if not a little bit over my head.
I think of all those guys too. I mean, just the aerial presence and the threat that they have. Big guys, but they've certainly got hops as well, Tommy.
So Wiedemann comes out, as well as Sem DeVitt. Danny Koenig adds a target alongside Kyle Gregg. Koenig 7 goals on the season as he checks in here in the 69th minute. Koch is out of subs. Edwards with the goal kick coming.
I think he's actually just going to stay in a 4-4-2, it looks like. Just put that target up top.
Koenig will immediately send it out wide right to Schindler. Schindler into the box, trying to give it right back to Koenig. Gregg will track it down, feeds it to Walker.
Nice play.
Great footwork to the left, McLaughlin. McLaughlin crosses it, Edwards touched it, so it's a corner kick.
Yeah. A great piece of play by Kenny Walker. Nice and calm, just takes it down and slots it out to Jimmy. This is where Jimmy wants to be, in positions going 1v1, and another good save by Edwards. Push it out for a corner kick. This is where the difference will be now, Tommy, with that size that I'm talking about on these set pieces.
2-1 Orlando City B as Kenny Walker sends it into the middle. Earl Edwards Jr. punches it into the air. Boehner comes to collect and try to send it back. Now Boehner will pull it right along the edge of the 18. Into the middle, headed into the air by Hines.
Just got to worry a little bit about preventative shape here. It's a foot race right now between Josu and Haji,
Haji
Barry.
Josu's your last line of defense. Matt Boehner had been playing back with him in the preventative defense, but he came forward on that ball that bounced out. Now into the midfield, Josu slows it down. And
yeah, still a lot of time left. I mean, you can't get too carried away with trying to get that equalizing goal.
No, but right there, he needed his team to regain its defensive shape.
Yeah.
Aiden has it come off his foot to Walker. Gregg into the middle, Schindler. Bowen will push it forward to the chest of McLaughlin. Jimmy McLaughlin, right-footed shot. It falls to Bone.
Unlucky.
Who turned on it and put it in the Bailey.
Yeah, tough to turn your hips on that. After a forward pass by Jimmy, who actually was a deflection. Jimmy cut inside and struck it. These ones are always kind of tough to hit.
Corbin Bone that close to his first of the year. They're chanting in the Bailey with 25,000 on hand, hoping for some late match fireworks. There'll be fireworks after the match to celebrate the 2-year anniversary of the club, which actually is officially 1 week from tonight. But the orange and blue need some in-match fireworks to get an equalizer and maybe more. McLaughlin is cut down, foul is called. And Danny Koenig trying to rush to the ball, get tied up with Rocha.
Yeah, Timmy does well, kind of good feet. It's going to be a little bit of a pullback.
Yeah.
I think by Klaus, I think it was.
Walker to Josu, back to Kenny Walker. He fired it into the back of Lewis Neal.
You've got to be playing those balls in, the threats that, you know, they possess in the box.
Haji Berry into the 18, got around Kenny Walker, then Delbridge racing back defensively after that set piece at the other end. Deflects it out on the near touchline at the last moment. Hayden throws it in and then gets it right back with McLaughlin there. So Sue forward for Bone. Out wide for Boehner, who tried to push it forward to Kevin. Yeah.
Schindler's looking for the ball down the channel. I think Matt Boehner needs him to come back for that support and act as a target.
Delbridge pushes it up the left side. Hayden has it come off his chest. Throw in for FC Cincinnati. So Sue will handle the duties in the 74th minute. 2-1 Orlando City B. McLaughlin off the header from Koenig. McLaughlin on the cross. Schindler doesn't get to the header, but Boehner comes over to pick it up. Sends it into the middle, and Rocha able to clear it away for OCB. The Lions will race the other way with De Silva. Tell you what, Pierre De Silva, dangerous player for this club. He's been pretty quiet tonight.
Yeah.
Had some touches early, but that's the first time I think I've said his name in the whole second half.
In the second half, too, I think for the most part, FC Cincinnati been in Orlando's half, really. You know, I think they've had a higher percentage of possession. So my point with that is that, you know, he's going to be back defend a lot more than he is going to be in possession.
OCB to the attacking third. Haji Berry with a touch, no surprise there. Close, looking to send it in the middle, he finds Berry. Berry in the box. Austin Berry with a big-time defensive tackle to take it off his foot.
Yeah, good recovery tackle. I think Haji Berry just lost him.
Koenig trying to get a run going the other way. Sliding tackle by Zach Carroll. The halftime substitute broke it up.
Just to finish that thought on Austin. We'll take another look at it here. Haji just kind of loses him. Great recovery tackle, gets back and does enough. Back up and then starts another possession.
Josu will take the corner kick as we will roll on to the 76th minute. Chance of FCC here in the Queen City. The home side trailing by a goal. Josu on the service. Delbridge can't get to it. Bounces out to Bone. His right-footed shot sails into the Bailey. And now the counter by Anthony Poulis, who will make two substitutions. His final two, Michael Cox who has played in all 3 matches now against FC Cincinnati this year. He'll come on for Lewis Neal. And Jordan Schweitzer, who started the match in Orlando, will come on as a late sub as well.
Number 41, Jordan Schweitzer, replacing number 24, Lewis Neal.
Got to think there, Tommy. Orlando's probably going to go defensive, maybe draw that line back a little bit. Maybe go to 2 screens instead of 1, which they've been playing with in the midfield.
Close will be the player that comes out for Schweitzer.
Yeah, so it looks like Hadji's just dropped back and kind of been in the top of that triangle for Orlando.
Orlando's a club that's unbeaten in their last 6 matches. They've drawn 5 straight. That string of 5 straight draws actually began with the match a month ago at home against FC Cincinnati.
And some good teams too, Tommy, some good results.
Kenny Walker's fouled in the midfield. Corbin Bone tried to send it over to the right to Matt Boehner, and his pass is intercepted by De Silva. Austin Berry gets it right back for the orange and blue.
Still a lot of time left, Tommy. The big thing, can't concede that 3rd goal.
Josu and Walker knocking it back and forth. And Walker will switch sides onto the right. Finds Boehner. Boehner to his left foot. His shot is deflected. Another corner kick and an opportunity on a set piece coming for FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, got to get something more from these corner kicks, Tommy. I think Josu's delivery's been okay. I think the runs maybe need to change. Attack that front post and that space in between the 2 center backs and the goalkeeper.
Josu looking for some magic. Sends it inside the 18. OCB does well defensively once again, and then Walker keeps it alive to Josu. Back into the middle looking for Koenig. Doesn't find him. Bone out to McLaughlin.
Be patient.
Jimmy into the 18.
Yeah.
His cross is deflected by Seb Hines. You have to think sooner or later FC Cincinnati's going to find the positive side of one of these.
I think the delivery's been good. I honestly, Tommy, like I talked about, it's trying to find that space in between the 2 screening center backs that are in the zone and getting players into that right position. You know, the balls I think have been pretty consistent, have been whipping in. It's getting a player into that space.
Walker will take it from our left. Danny Koenig tied up in the box trying to find possession, and there'll be a brief conversation there right in front of Edwards.
The other play, you just see that zone, that defender that's closest to the ball, trying to drag him out if they kind of get in that space.
Here's Walker looking far post. Schindler was the target. See who it touched last. They're going to say it touched off OCB. So Cincinnati able to throw it in inside of their attacking 3rd.
Again, just got to be getting nervous with Josu being the last player back here on this. Got to be careful of the preventative shoot.
Cross deflected away. Josu tapped it forward, and it'll roll out along the end line. FC Cincinnati fans make a life-saving blood donation at Hawksworth Blood Centers through August 9th. It was August 5th. The turnout, over 1,000 donations already. They had to order more shirts because when you make a donation, you receive an exclusive Hawksworth Blood Orange FC Cincinnati t-shirt. Visit hawksworth.org/FCC to schedule your appointment today. Goal kick for Edwards is headed down by Delbridge. Josu battling with March to win it back. March had the first goal of the night for OCB. It came in the 14th minute, an equalizer, his first of the season. Kyle Gregg, his first of the year, came in the 7th minute, and then it was the penalty kick saved by Edwards off the foot of Aiden Quinn in the 9th minute.
Yeah.
That boy could have changed the whole match if it's 2-0 in favor of the home side. Hildebrand will send it out across midfield. Bounces past Greg to Kunit. Schindler trying to keep it alive, pokes it out wide to Boehner. Boehner into the middle, and Schindler just misses it. And then Greg goes face first into the post. He appears to be okay. Was down more because of the disappointment of the moment. But what a cross.
Not going to get better chances here than this, Tommy, in the next 10 minutes. Boehner does a great job of touching. Great pace across the front of the goal. Unlucky on 2 occasions, really unlucky that Schindler or Greg couldn't get a touch on it. And what a ball in.
Only lucky moment there is that Kyle Gregg didn't injure himself when his face came to the post. I think he realized at the last moment and got his hands up. That is good news. FC Cincinnati creating opportunities, but unable to find that second goal. Corbin Bone's going to be called for a foul, battling for a header with Jordan Schweitzer. Bone doesn't agree with the call.
Just undercut him. I think he gets it right. I mean, all right, change the subject. Let's go.
I was just going to say the good news, Kevin, after last Saturday's affair, we haven't had much to talk about as far as the officiating is concerned tonight. A competitive match here at Nippert tonight.
That call is all about perspective, I think, just vantage point as well.
Delbridge with 3 white jerseys closing in. Able to get the deflection off OCB. And a goal kick for Mitch Hildebrand. Delbridge grabbing his back a little bit. A warrior this week. Delbridge playing all 3 matches. Playing the entire way in all 3 matches. Austin Berry can claim the same. Austin tonight, his 20th start of the season. Now over 1,700 minutes this season. As far as the outfielders are concerned, he leads the club in that regards. The only player who has played more minutes this season is Mitch Hildebrand, who has made 21 starts. And after tonight, we'll be at 1,890 minutes. Delbridge heads it down, but it ends up onto the foot of Hayden. Hayden was called for the tackle in the box. They gave Aiden Quinn that penalty kick early on. Delbridge is going to be called for a foul here.
Don't think he needs to make this foul, honestly. Overcommits a little bit. He's facing him up. He's gone away from goal. That gives Orlando a chance to whip this ball in and really try to grab this game by the neck.
Well, the difference right now, the goal in the 55th minute by Haji Berry, his 4th on the season, at a 2-1 advantage for OCB in the 84th minute. De Silva on the free kick, taps it over to Haji Berry.
Pull the clock off a little bit. It's kind of early for that.
That's a great spot, isn't it? Berry splits 2 defenders, then gets around Kenny Walker, but his touch a bit heavy.
Could have went down on that too, Tommy.
There's a contact, but I don't know. He put his hand up too on Kenny Walker's face, so I don't know if you're going to get the call there. As Hildebrand sends it out in the midfield, direction of Kyle Gregg. Josu has it come off his back. Good bone. Now McLaughlin. Berry up the right, Boehner. Matt Boehner's had another good night. Now Schindler weaves it into the 18, but nobody home in orange and blue.
Yeah. Same story really for the second half. You know, a lot of bodies forward and chances, but maybe 1 or 2 clear-cut opportunities, Tommy. You've got to pay, you know, big credit to Orlando's defense too.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think they've done a really good job of kind of keeping FC Cincinnati's attack at bay.
FC Cincinnati's had 5-6 corner kicks here in the second half with some really good crosses. And yet, The home lads still trail by a goal. Bone pushes it into the corner. Boehner. And another corner kick coming. Well, the services have been strong.
Yeah, but
you know, like you said, Orlando City's done well.
They've defended really well. I know they've conceded a lot of corner kicks, but anytime those balls are coming in from wide positions, I feel like they've dealt with it really well.
Everybody in white is inside of the 18 right now. Josue sends it. Delbridge got his head on it and put it too high. Kyle Gregg was taken down on the play, looked in the direction of the match official. Ball rolling out in the corner. Danny Koenig trying to help Earl Edwards get it back to his foot quickly so play can resume.
Danny's not got too much since he's come on. I'm sure he's very hungry to try to make his mark on this game. Just hasn't been able to find his feet or kind of the space that he wants to run onto it.
He's been able to provide instant offense a few times coming off the bench this season. Delbridge battling for the header, came over the back of Michael Cox, and will be called for the foul.
See him again. I don't think he needs to try to win it. You know, he's a little bit of frustration maybe creeping in for Harrison.
Orlando City in no rush here as Schweitzer brings it back into play. Mart sends it forward for Barry, who will be content pulling it to the corner, and then he's going to be surrounded by blue jerseys. Harrison Delbridge is going to be called for another foul. Barry's going to sit as long as he's allowed. Yeah. Really got a lot of ball, huh?
Yeah.
Flag came up from the linesman, signaling the foul.
Always tough for a defender, Tommy. You know, when that forward's bringing it in, he's trying to kill the clock. There's a level of frustration. He wants to try to get the ball back, of course, you know, and again, it gives them another opportunity, really, to do the same thing again, you know.
Exactly what Barry's going to do, but he loses it off his back heel to Josue. FC Cincinnati needs to regain possession. Throw-in will allow just that. 89th minute now, 2 minutes plus a little stoppage time, but I don't think there's going to be much.
I don't think so either.
Haven't seen a booking in the second half. We've seen one goal, the difference maker in this match.
The referee's been good tonight.
Well, I was wrong. I was just told 4 minutes of stoppage time. Conversely, what did we see last week? Like 3 minutes with all those cards in the second half, a couple red cards, a couple.
There you go.
So, you know what the best bet is? Just not try to figure it out and wait for the signal. So 4 minutes of stoppage time, so we're looking at about 5 minutes left for FC Cincinnati, trailing by a goal here at home in a crucial USL match. Cox killing off the clock in the corner. Kenny Walker knocks it out along the touchline.
Got to get something late here, Tommy, and Salvy's this point if they can. You said it's a crucial game. Not an easy task at hand for these next set of 10, 12 games.
Cleared out to the midfield. Kyle Gregg trying to get to it. Throw in coming for FC Cincinnati. Josue will take it. Sends it across to Austin Barry. Immediately pressure was there from Cox, and it goes back to Hildebrand. Now Delbridge. Boehner has a lot of space out on the right side if they can send it over there. Delbridge will go left to Josue.
For this initial goal.
He'll send it into the box, looking for Koenig. No. Gregg heads it down, cleared away by OCB. Walker trying to get the header. Then Austin Barry misses on De Silva. Delbridge is the last line of defense. De Silva into the box. Slows it down as Delbridge gets there. Nice job by Harrison.
Yeah, did really well. De Silva, you talked about he was kind of quiet tonight, but could have been the difference in trying to kill the game off.
We are into stoppage time. Again, 4 minutes, signaled by the fourth official. Hildebrand trying to get it started. OCB will head it away. Falls right to Boehner. Boehner forward. Foul's going to be called.
Dangerous position here.
10 yards outside the 18. And a golden opportunity here for the orange and blue.
Great opportunity, Tommy, in front of the goal. You're looking at a guy, maybe Josu, maybe Kenny Walker, steps up. Certainly good enough to strike from this range.
Foul was called on Leo Pereira. The wall is set up for OCB. They were probably set up about 4 yards too close to the ball. Walker and Josu stand over it. Everybody else lined up at the top of the 18. Josu going to take it, deflect it away. OCB will look for numbers the other way, and this is going to kill a good chunk of the clock.
Yeah.
Marks with a great run into the middle, Barry, and the flag goes up. It's an unfortunate offside call if you're an OCB fan. Walker sending it forward. Ball. Bounces in the direction of Koenig. Danny Koenig has done it! King Koenig off the bench for his 8th of the year!
Well, Tommy, we talked about he's a player that wanted to make his mark in this game. Finally had the chance in front of the goal to do so. What a finish over the goalkeeper. That's an important goal. Sees the keeper coming out, brave as always. Gets that touch on, just over Edwards' head, into the back of the net. Could be a vital goal and a vital point for FC Cincinnati.
The assist to Kenny Walker on the ball forward. Goal kick coming here for Hildebrand. Does FC Cincinnati have a little more magic here in stoppage time? Should be about a minute plus remaining. Koenig was booked afterwards.
Gotta still go for this, Tommy.
Hildebrand will send it right down the middle. Josu sent it down the left side. And FC Cincinnati with late heroics to tie it at 2 apiece. Josu's foul in the
last
midfield.
Chance here, Tommy. It's got to take their time. And
Delbridge forward, looking for Greg. He'll head it into the middle. Koenig headed it back. He thought Greg might make that run, overlapping behind him. Kyle did not, and nobody was home for FC Cincinnati. Josu keeping it alive. Maybe one more push in him. Kyle Gregg pushed from behind, wanted a foul call. It won't come. Throw in for OCB.
That's going to do it, Tommy.
The final whistle will sound here at Nippert Stadium, and a big goal late by Danny Koenig salvages a point for Alan Koch and FC Cincinnati.
Well, he came off the bench with a point to prove, Tommy, I think. Ends up scoring a very important goal like I talked about. Massive point for FC Cincinnati.
Well, tonight's moment of the match is driven by Toyota. Let's go places, and it shouldn't surprise anybody what the moment of the match is. It came just moments ago.
Time taken away. Danny Koenig, as always, is brave, chases down every ball. And what a finish, too, just to put over Edwards for that equalizing goal.
So Danny Koenig, on his 8th goal of the season, ties the match at 2 apiece. You can see the hug there with Kyle Gregg, who had the goal in the 7th minute to give FC Cincinnati the lead early. We'll step aside, take a break, wrap it up when we return and hear from head coach Alan Koch. All that's coming up next. Your final score, FC Cincinnati 2, Orlando City B 2. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Tom Glenn and Kevin McCloskey back with you at Nippert Stadium, where a draw tonight, the 6th straight for Orlando City, and bookend on that run. FC Cincinnati a month ago, 1-1 and 2-2 tonight here in the Queen City. Save time every time when you use online check-in for a great haircut at Great Clips. It's going to be great. Great Clips, great save, and Mitch Hildebrandt was tested with a big save in the first half.
I talked about it, during the game too on that save. Probably one of his best saves this season. Ball comes in 6 yards from goal. Orlando player turns and hits, and it's a strong save to his right-hand side.
Hildebrandt with some big plays in his bright yellow jersey tonight for FC Cincinnati, keeping it at a 2-1 match, and then Danny Koenig equalizing it in stoppage time. Lindsay Patterson has been on the sideline all night with her reports brought to you by Volkswagen. One more as she has a chance to chat with Alan Koch.
Coach, late resilience from your guys late in that match. Big point at home, big goal for Danny. You have to be pretty happy walking away with that.
Yeah, it's been obviously a very, very emotional week for all of us. Obviously, the high of Wednesday and the trouble takes a lot out of us, but that's not an excuse, of course. We played against a very good Orlando team tonight. We know when they come here, they load the team up with a lot of their MLS players. I think it was 8 of their players that played tonight, so we know we're going to get a good challenge against a good group. I was very, very pleased with how we started the game. We told the guys after Wednesday it was imperative that we came out and played with a lot of energy to start. Obviously, moments define these games, and penalty kick, obviously Hayden gave it everything he could. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and then Orlando fed off that energy and got themselves back into the game. But the beauty of what we saw at the end is, we say it all the time, this group's going to fight until the bitter end, no matter what the situation is like. So I'm very, very proud of them to get a point against a very, very good Orlando group like they threw out tonight at the end of a very, very emotional week is a very, very big positive. It's something that we can build on and continue to march in the right direction.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. And again, we appreciate the time from Alan Koch tonight. Our highlights are presented by Toyota. For all the latest Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. And this one got started with a flurry of action early, Kevin.
Great ball in by Josue, and what a finish by Kyle Gregg. Give the go-ahead goal, and really for Alan Koch, the perfect start to the game. Great technique of whipping it in. Gets up above it, and Kyle just heads it into the back of the net. This is the opportunity, obviously, that they come back and equalize. Clearance, I'm sure Alan's going to talk to them a little bit about, first and second clearances. But Marks has did a great job of kind of just watching all the way in for a volley. And then this is the goal here that goes ahead into 2-1. Haji Barry, I think, was probably the most threatening player for Orlando all night, and did make a mistake about that with a good finish.
Looked like it was the game winner for Haji Barry, but then late, King Koenig finds the equalizer.
And what a brave effort and performance again from him tonight. Didn't get too much before that opportunity, but kept his mental focus and ended up being the difference of getting a point tonight.
Serious support from the Bailey as the Fellas head into the dressing room. Tonight's man of the match is presented by You Pull and Pay. Found the parts you need fast and save at You Pull and Pay. And Kyle Gregg into the starting lineup and made his presence felt right away.
Obviously, debuts as a starter and very special to get a goal. I think tonight for him, not just the goal, but just his effort off the ball. I think he really impressed and gave a solid performance. So for me, he's man of the match tonight.
The expectant father has his first goal of the season, and FC Cincinnati finds a way to eke out a point here at home tonight. Once again, our final score from Nippert Stadium, FC Cincinnati 2, Orlando City B 2. Up next for FC Cincinnati, a couple of road games at Louisville next Saturday and at New York in league play a week after that. Our next broadcast of USL soccer comes your way Wednesday, August 23rd when FC Cincinnati hosts Ottawa Fury FC. The action begins at 7 p.m. on the CW and ESPN 1530. For sideline reporter Lindsey Patterson, my broadcast partner Kevin McCloskey, and producer David Ashbrock, I'm Tom Glader saying so long and good night from Nippert Stadium.